Hey guys, welcome to Nerdville. Today we're gonna cover the latest chapter of One Piece and just give our thoughts about what is going on in the franchise.
And we're gonna start by taking a look at this cover page, chapter 1083, The Truth About That Day. We get to see a more gentle side of Doflamingo, I guess. What do you think, Turtles?
It's kind of cute, honestly. Just seeing a little bit of humanity from him, like it's kind of
I
nice.
mean, we're never gonna see it otherwise. He's such a sociopath that,
Yeah, probably.
see him a little chicken though, it's pretty cute.
All right. Well, okay, we're gonna go through a little summary at first of the chapter, and then we'll go a little bit more in depth on a couple of parts that are really interesting about this week's chapter. So, like the chapter starts, like basically you were getting a report from Sabo about what happened in Marjoie, where they say that they accomplished basically all their goals. They freed the slaves, they freed Kuma, they destroyed the symbol of the Celestial Dragons to declare war, and they even got their like food reserves to like cripple them a little bit in the short term.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the long term, it feels like, well, later on in the chapter, we see that they tell us that basically a lot of revolutionaries are targeting the food reserves of the world government to basically do a long-term siege on Marijois, which is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We also see Dragon and Ivankov's side of things, which we had no idea about previously. We were all just so interested in what was happening with Sabo, we didn't necessarily think what the revolutionaries were doing. But here we understand that they've been creating uprisings in 12 different nations in the world government, where 8 were successful, except obviously Lelouch Kingdom, which was eradicated. And yeah, so later we get to see also, yeah, what we were talking about earlier, where it's going to be a long-term siege against Marie-Joie. And that's pretty cool. We get to see more of that. And not only that, we get to see what the repercussions are going to be because Dragon explained to us that the Holy Knights are going to get involved, which is a group that we don't know much about, right, Turtles? I think we heard about it. I don't remember which chapter it was exactly, but Akainu mentioned them
Yeah.
shortly. We didn't
I'm,
know what
I'm
they were, so
I mean, one
yeah,
of
go
the
ahead.
figure does look a little bit ominous, but I think we'll touch upon that a little bit later.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, let's
then
get
there's
into that.
just it's just a bunch of what are their future plans or how they what are the consequences of their moves, and we that leads to them discussing about Cobra's assassination and Sabo being we assume framed for that crime at this point in the story. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and they just want to make sure that what is true, and then that leads into a little bit of a snapshot back to what happened in Marjoie, where we see the assault, and we see how like strong those like actual commanders are. And I don't know what you thought, Fanfi, but like they were pretty impressive in my opinion at that from what we saw.
yeah. And it's funny that I like what a week, 2 weeks after you released the One Piece tier list, where we just decided to put them in NA. They actually kind of prove that they're probably at least captain, and probably with more uh with more examples of their strength, probably cream of the crop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they fought against two admirals. I know they were kind of stuck and they couldn't like fight at their full power, but like that tells you everything you need to know that they had to, you know, use a level of brute force to deal with them that they couldn't do in that in the Holy Land, right?
Yeah. We see in the chapter, for instance, we see Saint Charlos and other celestial dragons running away from all of the chaos. And I mean, there's not much that the admirals can do here because they're restricted. Like you said, they can't like go at full power, obviously. But it's still impressive that, despite that, they're still able, like they're the captains of the revolutionaries. We assume that they were strong, but it's cool to get at least this little preview. It's very nice.
And then we see, I think it's Sabo in the castle. Like we see again a snapshot of San Carlos. That's basically saying he just wants Shirahoshi, and that might be another point of the plot later on. I think they've made a big focus on it on the Reverie, and it looks like it's
Yeah.
something that's very important for the rest of the story. We see a little bit that Bonnie is there. There's a whole discussion with Vivi and Lucci, and basically she just tells him that she doesn't trust him to protect anything
I mean,
because
she doesn't trust the world government at all, I think, at this
exactly.
point, you know?
And then we, and the last part, and as usual, Oda gives us a cliffhanger, right? Is that Cobra is gonna have a
Yes.
meeting with the five elders alone, and we assume that that's where something interesting happened at least.
Yeah, and we were discussing it while we were reading the chapter with Turtles that, the Nefertiti family were part of the kings that decided not to join the world government or not to become celestial dragons in any case. And knowing like that, like the Kozukis, like they probably have much more information about the Void Century than we think of. So that's probably why uh why Cobra was assassinated. It's cool to see him. I mean, he's such a cool guy. Look at the swag. He's so cool, bro.
He is really cool. Yeah.
It's so sad that he's dead, you know.
hmm Um. So now we're gonna go a little bit in depth about like the really interesting parts of that chapter and what it could mean for the rest of the story. But if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Um. So for me, like, well, the first part of the chapter, I mean, the fact that they got all their goals achieved in Marie-Joie is kind of like it reminds you of a little bit of you know like what happened. What was it like 30 years ago with Fisher Tiger, something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, Jinbei was it was when Boa was young. So I think yeah, 30 years ago makes sense. She was a teenager at the time. Or maybe 20 years ago, maybe. I'm not
hmm
sure. We'll have to check on that.
what I liked also about that whole discussion between the three of them is you get really an idea of what the Revolutionary Army is about. We assumed that they were just, typical stuff, but like seeing their plans, how they're attacking things, seeing that they have a lot of success too, helping nation get under the rule of them. Like so far, we only seen really Luffy as the liberator of nations, and we felt like the Revolutionary Army was kind of just like a back thing, and now we really see the true power that they have in that universe.
Yeah, yeah. Like we assumed for a long time. Like even in our tier list, we said we just can't rank them. We don't have the info. But like we didn't see any like direct results from them. And here it's nice to, like you said, see that they have like a lot of success. Like what Sabo said, like that they succeeded in all of their goals is really impressive. Like it's nice to see this segue into the Revolutionary Army. Like it's much needed, I think, in the story. Like,
Mhm. I want to touch about the God Knights because
yeah, man. Shanks,
it
Shanks.
does look like Shanks. I mean, I don't know. It could be
I
his
hope it is Shanks.
brother. I mean, we spent like personally, I think that he could have been from a holy family based on his backstory. And we've seen that with Doffy as well, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. So maybe it's like somebody that's linked to him. Another funny thing would be like if you look at a little bit of everybody, like could it be maybe his crew? Like his actual crew are the ones? That would be
Nah, man.
that would be exceptional. That would be
It would be
honestly
cool.
it would be the
Look
greatest
at the
plot twist of
twist,
all time. That one of the emperors of
Uh,
the sea the entire time was the Holy Knights, like
I
or
saw
the God
some
Knights.
yeah. I saw some other people talking online about, the fact that it could be like Shanks's twin or something like that because in the in the manga anyways, I'm not sure about the anime if we see the left side of his face, but in the manga you only see the right side. So you don't see if he has the scar or if he has one arm. So, there's always the evil twin possibly. I really hope it was Shanks because it gives you this like side of him which is more like the peacekeeper, the one who wants to keep balance in the world and who's playing both sides, maybe for the sake of the people, which is cool. Like I really like that side of this character, and I hope that that this is not Shanks. Like that, at least that the guy that was at the that the guy that was with with the Gorosei with Shanks. Like that's what I hope. But there's a lot of possibilities. So it's always
Honestly.
interesting when Oda give us
Hmm.
little nuggets.
Hmm. I really like the flashback because it just like as we mentioned before, I think we really see the revolutionary like captains show their strength, and not only that, just we know that they got out all safe, and we know based on the panels that you have at least two admirals on point, plus the CP0 agents that are fighting. So I mean,
Yeah, no casualties.
no casualty,
No casualties impressive, yeah.
and
I
this
mean,
freed a bunch of
Cobra,
slave
but
with them. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. No, but like it was a cool chapter. The thing with the God's Night is interesting too. Like it's like Oda is a history nut, and it's interesting to like to see where he got this inspiration stuff from. We might make a video on it at one point, possibly.
hmm,
Uh, but it's just interesting. I'm curious if there's any history if there's any history nuggets there.
probably. The obsession of Saint Charles with owning a mermaid is very interesting to
Yeah,
me.
a
It's that
giant mermaid princess. Like,
it's not
dude,
even
listen, man.
it's not even that because the first time we meet him is when he's at the auction trying to buy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's obsessed with mermaids. Got
He
this
is
fetish.
he is obsessed with mermaids. And I think that's gonna be. I don't know why he's coming back to explain that all the time, and I think that's gonna be a major plot to like. There's something that's gonna happen based on what he's saying because he's clearly not giving up, and we know celestial dragons when they want something, they usually get it.
Yeah.
So
And I love Oda, like usual, with he's such a tease sometimes. He calls the chapter, well, it could be the mistranslation, huh? But the truth about that day, I mean,
yeah, we
do
know
we
that.
really
We
get the
know.
truth about that day, man? Like,
No, but the only thing we know is that Cobra goes into a room and probably pays the ultimate price in that room.
yeah,
But
yeah. Oh, Rip Cobra, man.
I mean,
He's so swag.
that was such a great chapter. It was so short, but it was
Yeah.
packed with like, you know what? It reminded me a little bit of like Attack on Titans in a way, where you're getting more into the political intrigue, and so it's just so much information. Like it's not that much information, but so many little things that are put in just a short, compact way that leave you yearning for even more. And that's his specialty,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, Oda that's his specialty for sure. So yeah, it's interesting that, he deals more into the political side of everything, the long-term planning of the Revolutionary Army. Yeah, like I really like the setup in this chapter. It's true, like we didn't get, what the chapter said we would, but we'll get more into that. Oda's been releasing fire chapters recently, again and again and again. It keeps getting better and better and better. I don't know what he's on, but just keep like Kodak, keep resting, please. Like take a month off, man. Chill out.
I don't know if I can take
Get
it
out your
though.
story.
A
Yeah,
month
you can
without
take
One
it.
Piece, man. Like, can you do that? Can
Why
any
don't
of
you
us
already
do
have
that?
for sure.
I
For
mean,
sure.
yeah,
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And yeah, enjoy the One Piece content from now on. And we'll be releasing Star Wars content soon. So look forward
yeah.
to that.
Also, guys, we're gonna try to make it like a weekly thing where we're gonna just like read the chapter and just have that little discussion with about the chapter, and we would love to hear your thoughts too. And thanks for watching.
Bye.